I am live from my studio, and I have my cameraman Keith here with me, the producer, who does work very, very hard with me, always, always, always. But he usually does my my YouTube like edits and things like that, which some new ones will be on, so I hope you'll watch them. But I thought I'd come live today because actually we were out at one of our new projects, one of our new real estate projects today, and some of the next video that's going to come on is live and is I mean not live, it is showing you that actual footage of the product and I mean the project and things like that. And hello, how are you, Thomas, today? So good to be with you. So good to be with you. Hey, Thomas, I got a question for you. I've been thinking about this. Are you a person who thinks about being in real estate from your young age? Because there's no age limit. You could get into this and, like, you know how you're talking about having a mansion and all that stuff, you could build to that. I mean, there's not an age limit. You're never too old, you're never too young, you know, all the things. So just wondering about that. Glad you're joining me today. Glad you're joining me. Anyway, we just went out to the project, and this project is a single family home. It's somewhere somebody would move in and live. And it is so, it so cracks me up what happens at these projects when we first get going on them and what we find there. So when you watch my next video that we're putting out, you'll see some of the footage from there. Oh yeah, my cameraman's getting rid of the water in front of me and all that stuff, making me look better. We're in the studio. I would love it. I'm so glad he's here with me, because a lot of times I do lives and it's just me yakking, you know, it's just me talking, and then you guys interact with me, which I dearly love, and thank you so much. And please share this with other people and get them to jump on too, so we can just have a community conversation. It really helps me. But it's so great to have people here. I mean, I have a physical person with me today, and actually the camera's probably better. The camera angles and the lighting and all that stuff is probably better. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. And so I'm in the studio, but if you ever want to come join me, I can do lives regularly from the studio, and I would love you to be here with me in the studio. Okay, so I have to disclose something to you. You guys that are writing to me, I wear glasses, right? And my vision is, you know, is corrected with glasses, but I can't see like little tiny writing. So I've got a little monitor in front of me that has your writing on it, little tiny writing. So I may pause every once in a while and try to read. I want you to interact with me. I want to be chatting with you. But if I'm just for a minute not seeing it, that's why, because I have to kind of tune in and I might look a little strange. But if you ever want to come to the studio with me, this studio is amazing. There's sometimes food here for you. Keith, there's sometimes food. I complain to him all the time because I want food and water, bread and water, right? But there's food here. You know, having people to interact, having people to, you know, ask questions when you're live. And I'd like to start doing that like maybe weekly. And if anybody's interested in that, we do. Our studio is here outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a town called Salisbury. And if you ever want to come, just let me know, and you could say it in the comments or another time. And I'm saying hi to everybody, saying hi. So let me read this thing. I have thought about it. Okay, this is my Thomas. He's telling me about real estate that he wants to be in. Let's see, I'm gonna get into real estate. It pays you really good. Absolutely. Real estate, actually, the reason I got into real estate investing is because I was broke. I was a single mom that had a young son, and I also was starting a coaching practice. I'm gonna admit this to you. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I do very well as an entrepreneur now. But I always had this call to be an entrepreneur. Anybody else feel like they need to go run their own business and things like that? And I did everything wrong. Most of my life, I really have done everything wrong. But here's you go. If you keep going, it's not wrong. It's learning, right? But on the surface, it was doing it wrong. So instead of like getting this business going on the side and being an entrepreneur on the side and all the things and getting it going, I had a really good job that I didn't really like very much. I just left my job. I just left my job with no income, anything. And I started doing business coaching. And it takes a minute to build a coaching community. And I just went off and did it. And so I didn't have a lot of money. And I also was being, my family was very concerned about why I had done this, and they were pressuring me to go and get a job, any job, it didn't matter. And so anybody ever have these experiences where you decide you're going to do something and you just go about it and then you go do it? I see some hearts coming up, so thank you. Somebody must have had that experience. Interact with me. Tell me the experience. You can say one word. Started my own business, bought a car that I couldn't afford, whatever it is. Anyway, so I've done that. I've done it wrong. But it ended up working out. And so in the middle of this, my husband and I, my ex-husband and I, we're friends now, but we were not at the time, we broke up. And I also was working during that time, I took a job working in the mission field. I worked in Guatemala, and I helped a school. I became a CEO with a nonprofit, and I helped that school support children going to school who lived in poverty. In Guatemala, if you don't have money to pay for school, about when you're in 3rd grade, you don't get to go to school anymore. And so education, especially in Guatemala, in our country, we can become very wealthy and entrepreneurs, and more people don't go to college and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of get around it somewhat. But in Guatemala, it's very much how much education you have is the type of job you can get. So these kids that grew up in poverty and couldn't, go to school ever, they were the ones that, stayed in poverty. It's like that cycle, right? Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. I'm trying to read this stuff. So yeah, please subscribe. That's my Keith. He's asking you guys to subscribe. If you're liking what you're hearing, interact. Come on. Okay. Anyway, if you're liking what you're hearing, please subscribe. Please like. We love the likes. This goes out further if you like, what's going on, if you put a thumbs up. And certainly if you're hearing stuff you want to share, please do. We'd love that. Anyway, so back to Guatemala. I'm in Guatemala and I'm working, and my ex-husband and I are, I'm helping these kids get a way to go to school, which I'm fundraising. And so I did a lot of fundraising in the United States, and I actually took that school from being about it was probably about $200,000 in debt. No way to pay the debt. Teachers hadn't been paid in months and all that thing. And in a year's time, we were functioning on a $500,000 a year budget to the plus, which that was a lot to do. There isn't public education or money for education past 3rd grade in Guatemala, so that wasn't something we were accessing. And there aren't a lot of people that pay for private schools for children that aren't their own in Guatemala either. And technically, if you're a poor kid, a lot of people just kind of ignore it that live there. And there's a lot of poverty there, so it's a lot of people. Anyway, so we came out to the good, but in the meantime, I had quit my other job. This did not pay that much. And I needed money. My husband and I broke up, and the money that was in our account while I was in Guatemala working disappeared. It was taken. And I think the ex took it, but there's no claim to that. It's pretty evident he did. And I needed to support my son. Literally, there was one day that I really remember, like, this is all going to change. And you guys ever have these experiences, like sometimes when you are at rock bottom, you have the choice to stay at rock bottom and stay depressed and just be like, everything's bad, I'm just going to go live in a ditch, all that kind of mentality. Or you can make the decision at that moment, and it is literally a decision that this is not going to be this way anymore. There's so many times when I and other people I've known who have hit that wall or that rock bottom or that time where they didn't have the money or whatever it is, and they made that forceful decision to end it, that wasn't going to happen anymore. Well, this happened to me, and this is how I got into real estate investing. I had one piece of bacon. Literally, I had one piece of bread and one piece of bacon and no money to buy anything else in my house for my son. And I took that piece of bacon and I gave it to him and did not eat for 2 days. And at that time in my life, I was very ashamed of it. I have 2 master's degrees. I'm an educated person. I'm supposed to be knowing better. And I remember walking around the block and I had 2 thoughts. Either one, I'm gonna like leave this world and just, you know, go to see God, go to be with Jesus, and I'm gonna do that on purpose, right? Or I am going to change this. And I'm walking around the block and I'm praying and I'm praying and praying. And I was like, well, look what it would do to my son if I left him. You know, what would that do? He's, you know, 8 years old. And so I ended up saying, I'm changing everything. I had no idea how I would get into real estate. I had no, like I told you, I do it wrong all the time. But I went and I got with other people who had some money and they trusted me. And back in those times, we could buy like a little house for $30,000. I'm not finding those very more anymore. And then you could use your credit cards to renovate it. And so I renovated this house and I hired people who didn't know what I was doing. And thankfully it all worked out. God took care of me. And all of a sudden I sold that house and there was a lot of drama. It took a while. It took probably longer than it needed to. And I had $30,000 in my pocket, to the good. I paid off all the credit cards. I paid off everybody. I paid for the house, and I had $30,000. And my son needed, he was in private school, and I wanted him to be in private school. And he had a reading issue, and he wasn't learning how to read very well in the public school, and so they had a special program. And so I was able to pay for his private education. And then I took some of that money, and I reinvested it, and I did again, and I did again. And, you know, over time, when you do something, you start to learn. And then I started meeting people and reading. There's a great book. If any of you, somebody raise your hand if you're interested in learning how to, like the quintessential book to flipping, to how do you buy a house? How do you fix it? How do you get the money for it? It is called Buy It, Fix It, Sell It. I started reading that book and it was phenomenal for me. And you know, I used to teach, you know, real estate flipping, like coaching, and still do. But when I first started teaching, I just taught directly from that book. It was so good. Anyway, so I went on and I got going on the real estate and just kept investing. And then all of a sudden, over time, I've had 11 houses. I started renting some of the houses out. I had 11 houses at one time. And they were literally all over the country. And just a lot of success, just one step at a time, right? And so anyway, taking that success became a person that other investors follow and want to be part of. And now I have a real estate development company and a team that works for me. So we're out at this, and we have a new, like, all of this comes full circle to tell you how I got into real estate. And now I am here, and we had a project today, and we have a new project that we have an investor. We're doing it for the investor. We're flipping for the investor. And so I'm out there today. I'm out at the project, and we're looking around, and we're hauling off. Like, a lot of times when you buy these houses, especially if people are losing a house or whatever, they kind of lose their interest in what's happening on their property, and their property can get really junky. So we go out to the property, and it's my first time there. And what are some things you think we found at the property? Just kind of guess. Guess some of the things that we found at the property. It's hard to guess. You guess anything. We found, actually, on properties, we found all kinds of things. No dead bodies. Actually, another flipper in town recently had that happen, but no, we didn't find the dead bodies. What we did find is, how many? Two hang gliders. Like those things that you jump off of a cliff with and just like ride the airwaves, you know, down. I mean, full size hang gliders in this, and I'm talking about, I live in the Piedmont region of North Carolina. People don't usually have hang gliders here. It's not like a thing, right? So I had never actually seen one. I've seen them on videos. I've seen them, you know, in different places, but I've never seen one up close and personal, you know. This thing is massive. It's huge. And so I wanted my film guy, buy. I wanted Keith. Keith was out there with me at the property. And just to an aside, let's all cheer for him. I want Keith to buy this property. Yeah, Keith, buy the property, buy the property. So anyway, I had him out there filming, and I told him, go ahead and film me with this hang glider. Like, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to run with it and film me doing that. So I walk over to this hang glider and I can't even lift this thing. I didn't realize how heavy those things are. They're like, I mean, I go to the gym like regularly. I cannot lift it. I couldn't even lift it. So those things are pretty heavy. So anyway, we never did pick it up or film me with it. And then we found another one on the property and moved it over next to the other. We keep walking around the property and we're, doing haul off. He's got his guys there for haul off and that kind of thing. And we get to like the driveway of the property and there's a sailboat there. A sailboat. And this sailboat, like, I grew up in a family, my family ran a boating business. I know a lot about sailboats. I know a lot about boats. And, which, by the way, I'm not still in that business because I am the kid in the family growing up in a family that sold boats and repaired boats for their living, and I was seasick all the time. So they would take me out to go do, like, we used to do boat rescues. Like, we'd go out and go in a boat and go pick people up that their boat broke down, like we were like AAA of the seas, and we'd go out there and we'd go to pick them up, and and I'd be throwing up the whole way. I was more trouble than help. I know what to do, and I'd be throwing up the whole time they told me, what to do. I have terrible seasickness growing up in a family of entrepreneurs who ran a boating business. So it ended up that I ran the office and ran the books and those kind of things, which is maybe why I'm a CEO that helps build businesses now. I don't know. But anyway, so I know a lot about boats. I'm looking at this boat. It's a 22-foot, which is a big sailboat. It's a larger, like mid-size. It's not like a yacht, but it's a mid-size sailboat on somebody's property in the middle of Piedmont, North Carolina. How come it's there? But it's in really bad shape because I'm getting excited because I live, you guys know, you've seen me film down under the palm trees at the coast. I live at the coast, and I'm thinking I could take that thing down there and sell it, right? I'm trying to see, what? I can't see what it says. I can't see it. I can't see what you're saying. I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you read that comment, Keith?
I'm going to the dentist.
You going to the dentist?
But I'm really scared. Give me advice.
Oh, you're going to the dentist and you're scared. Well, here's the thing. I just did a video about this, as a matter of fact. It's all about position and how you think about things. We've talked about this before. I want to honor that you're saying you're afraid, right? I mean, if you try to deny it and just eat those feelings, or you deny them. So knowing that you're afraid and asking about it is really good stuff. And so, but what you can do is try to reframe it for yourself. That could be an easy thing to do, is like, what is the story you're telling yourself that's going to happen at the dentist that's making you so afraid? They're going to hurt you. What is the story that's playing through your mind that you keep thinking about that's making you afraid? And what you could do is go back in and tell yourself a new story, right? You could literally, you're telling yourself a story, so you can change the story. You can change your script anytime. You're in charge. So you could start telling yourself, they have ways that not to hurt me. They have a TV. A lot of the dentists now have the TV. I can just watch TV, watch my favorite program. I don't know what they're doing, if they're a procedure or whatever, cleaning your teeth. Cleaning your teeth, it only takes 20 minutes. You could tell yourself a different story and see how that works. Come back on and tell me how it went. Tell me how your dentist went. And that's the other thing, is to start compile the evidence that you've been to the dentist this many times and it wasn't so bad. You have proof that it's not going to be so bad, right? So change the story, change your perspective, and see how that helps. So going back to this sailboat. So the sailboat is in really bad shape because we're thinking, well, we'll just go sell this thing. Well, we go and look this thing up, and we find out it's been in a collision. Now, how does a sailboat get into a collision? Like, I'm thinking the collision is, that a car ran on, it was on a trailer, it was on the trailer, and I'm thinking, well, the story I'm telling is that it went a car ran into it, right? No, this thing was in a collision on the water. That's a very unusual occurrence for a sailboat. I just have to tell you. And the sailboat's just in a really, really, really bad shape. So they probably got in this collision and then parked it there and thought they were going to fix it or sell it or whatever. But it's so fascinating when you go to these homes that we renovate, when we just get started, when we're doing the clean out, when we're getting ready to, change the home from what it is into just this beautiful place to live. And we literally are there with, our clipboards. My operations manager, Beverly, who we'll have on here sometime, is going to be with us. She'll come on here with me. But she's literally with a clipboard writing what lights they're going to order and things like that. And then you start finding this other stuff. So I'd encourage you to go ahead and plan when we put that video out to look for that on the YouTube channel. It won't be alive. I probably should have gone live while I was there, but I didn't. But I would encourage you to be looking for that video because you're going to see those hang gliders. There was also, what is the other thing that was there, Keith? That light, an ultralight. I don't even know what that. Tell me what that is. Ultralight is like this thing that you get pulled behind a boat. Is that right?
No, it's like a hang glider with a motor.
It's a hang glider with a motor, even better. It's kind of like one of those motorized bikes. I always see those motorized bikes. I'm kind of being ADD right now with this. But you never see those motorized bikes, and I think to myself, why is it even a bike? I mean, nobody's pedaling. I guess you could turn it off and pedal if you wanted to. But if you got motor, why? So anyway, it's a hang glider with a motor. And that's out on that property too. Fascinating. Fascinating. There's other things that were on that property, many other things, just piles and piles of stuff that's, more, we'll tell you more about it, but I would tell you to go ahead and be involved. I'm trying to read the next comment. By the way, if you're having fun today, we're just kind of having fun and talking about what we found at our newest project. And by the way, these projects that I do now, I used to do projects so that I could make money and I could support my kid. That was the goal. That was my North Star, is to take care of my child because I didn't receive child support. I was on my own as a single mom. Dad came around every once in a while and he was the Disney dad, but, I was on my own. And so I used to do real estate investing as a real way to make money pretty quickly. And I used that to subsidize, to create actually my income. And my income got pretty high because of it. But now I do projects, and my team does projects, and we actually do them for investors. These are investors that want to come in, and if you're listening to this now or sometime and you want to explore this, you can just go to Paula B Coaching. We'll put it in the show notes. Set up an appointment to sit and talk with me about investing and how we do a done-for-you program, which is literally we go find the house, we make sure it's in a great neighborhood where it can sell. We make sure that you can make your profit. We try to get you at least the math on real estate investing. I do a regular training on that if you ever follow me and want to be part of that. Again, you could go to paulabcoaching.com and figure that out. But this is a done for you project where there's somebody else that owns the house and our team takes it on. We renovate it. We do all the things. Then we market it and sell it when we're done. And so the poor owner hasn't been there to see all the glory, so we'll send him all the videos. So I just wanted, it's always so great. And why I'm saying this right now is that the projects that I involve myself in now are ones that build community and provide something real for the people that would move into the house and also for my investors. I don't want to be, I have a North Star in terms of why I do this business and what I'm about with this business. You guys are going to hear more about a senior living, tiny home community that is just moving forward at the speed of light. We'll have to go out there and film, Keith. It's 90 acres. So that one's going forward at the speed of light. It's like, when, I'm going to tell you the truth, when God wants you to be part of something, when it's in God's plan that you do something, it's just like I said the other day when I talked about the North Star, that, where Jesus was in the manger and the wise men were following the star. I submit to you, they could not turn away from that. They were called by God. This was part of God's story, part of the things to be able to share. And what you're called to do, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to, whatever, but you are never going to not be called by it, and you're never going to be able to turn away from it, right? And so what you get involved in is going to be God's stuff anyway. So you might as well just pray that God puts it in front of you, because otherwise it's going to be quite a journey. So anyway, when it is God's plan, it just flows. Anybody have that experience when you're trying to do something that isn't God's plan, and then finally you get like hit on the forehead? Oh, God doesn't want this for me. This is not part of where I should be playing, right? And when you are involved in things that are God's plan, it just is so much easier and so much fun. I truly believe coming on here with you is part of God's plan. I just love doing this. It's so fun. And actually, it was my producer and Keith, who's sitting here with me right now, that kind of talked me into doing these lives, because I wasn't going to do them. I literally got sick when they talked to me about doing it. But the first one I did, I was like, I love it. There's people talking to me and all the things that I get to teach, and we get to talk about what's important to all of us. Somebody will even bring up, I'm going to the dentist right now. What advice do you have? This is so cool. So anyway, back to it. When it's God's plan, it is easier. And these projects that I'm involved in now, truly, I do not take them on or investors on if it isn't prayerfully sought. And what happens are so many miracles along the way. So this particular house is going to be redone and provide a family affordable housing that they'll absolutely love. And I'm really, really, really encouraged about that. In fact, we have a couple of potential buyers at the table. And if you're listening to this sometime and you're in North Carolina or, wherever, and you're really thinking about maybe you'd like to buy a house and you'd like to get in, I'm not talking necessarily about an investment house. I'm talking about a house you want to live in. You've been renting for a while, and maybe all the things. You have a job, but you'd really like to buy a house. You're glad to have you give me. I'll have like a little sign-up sheet, because we're getting ready to help people move into that and have our investors really create a house for a particular buyer. So that is really, really great stuff, and that's God's stuff. Totally God's stuff. So. Go find that video. It'll be up in a few days of the new project, and go look at all of the stuff. And we even did a little contest of what is the weirdest thing that anybody has found, all of my team, on these new projects, on these new houses that we go into. And we did a contest on who found the weirdest thing, and we had a vote on it. we had an outside person vote on it. And it's pretty weird. So I would encourage you to go listen to that video. And if you want to chat further about becoming an investor with me, or even finding about investing in real estate, and or you want to really look into buying a house for yourself, owning a house, an affordable house, and you're in North Carolina, in the show notes, my website is paulabcoaching.com. You can always go on there and find trainings. Always in here, there's stuff about buying real estate and being involved in real estate investing. Glad to have those chats. Want you on here. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe now, and share this with other people that you've talked about. I do not know one person truly, and maybe it's just because of me. I do not and have not met one person who does not want to be in real estate investing, or hasn't thought about it, or is actively looking into it, but they just don't know how to do it, or they don't know how to get into it, or they don't want to own real estate. In our country, that's kind of the American dream, right? But we need to make things more affordable. We need to make things more community and more affordable. And that's what I'm all about, is helping you have your dreams, helping you know why you want this, helping you figure out how to get it, and then figuring out how to really do it. I'm Paula Bohland. I hope you'll tune in another time when we're on live. If you're on right now and you have not subscribed, please go subscribe. Please like. The likes helps us go out to other people. It shows us that you are interacting with what we're doing. Just saying hi to everybody that jumped on. Please, when you see me live again, please jump on, and we will talk very, very soon. Go look for the other videos, and my shorts will be out about this topic as well.